I am Sam. I am Sam, and I am the frontman, guitarist, and singer from Cougar Mingus.
Brilliant.
We're a fairly modern band, modern grunge band, I should say, new band, based in Bristol. And we've got a big gig this weekend for a single release, so I thought I'd talk about my single a bit. It's called Bolt Gun, and it's kind of weird. All my songs I write from the perspective of somebody else. It's not really me, it's kind of a character. I think a lot of people do this, so that you can really indulge yourself and say shit that maybe you don't actually mean. So it's written from the perspective of somebody kind of like with bloodlust, somebody that just eats meat every day, 3 meals a day. Because a lot of people do that, and I just find it bizarre. I'm not trying to stop people from eating meat, but just kind of, I want people to realise what it is. I feel like people just see meat as a food, and they completely ignore the fact that it used to be an animal running around. I mean, I'm Welsh, right? I was raised on a farm in Wales, and I know how the meat industry works. I've reared animals myself, and I used to eat loads of meat. And that's why I feel like I'm in a unique position where I can actually make a comment on this shit. So basically the song is like, it's kind of from the perspective of somebody that's like rearing an animal for slaughter and then just killing it dispassionately. The verses are kind of like this. It all starts off quite whispery, and it's about the use of a bolt gun. So the bolt gun's like a pneumatic gun with a captive bolt in it, right? And you put that to the animal's head, and it goes and just fucking blasts a hole in their skull and ends their life. So that's why it's called bolt gun. It's a pretty horrible thing, and it's sort of like the whisperiness of the pneumatic pump and the percussion of the bolt. I've tried to get all that into the song. So yeah, the verses are kind of this horrible kind of. I feel like I'm in an abattoir when I'm listening to it, and it's from the perspective of somebody with a leather apron covered in blood that's talking about rearing the animals, killing them, and then it flits back to this sort of whispery verse about lobotomy. There's an old saying, I can't remember who came up with this the first time, but it's, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, right? And so there's kind of a twist on that is the main verse, which I thought kind of suited the sort of blood-drunk persona of the person singing it. And then there's this bit at the end, which is more about the consumer. It's kind of written from the perspective of the consumer, which is like, I hate to see it, but must I wait to eat it? So sort of like, I don't want to know anything about the process of the farming or the murdering of the animal. I don't want anything to do with that. I just want to eat it, put it on my plate, take my money, and I don't want anything to do with it. It's just dispassionate consumption. Kind of like, a capitalist approach to meat. And I just think that's fucked up. After all this sort of huge crescendo of the song being about just consumption, money going out, meat coming in, the end of it is this sort of, it all just fades into this jazzy outro, which is kind of there almost. So that for me is just about, it's like palliative care, right? It's sort of the thing that for the listener. So you can hear a Tibetan singing bowl comes in, and just to sort of create a sort of drone orb, and then there's some djembes come in, some shakers and a tambourine. It all becomes this sort of like hippie arrangement, and there's a good sort of minute of this jazzy outro that kind of fades to a nice steady decline, almost like a nurse was holding your hand as the morphine races through your veins. And then the last sort of whispering voice you hear is that of the captive bolt gun. As the singing bowl fades out, you just hear this little the bolt gun at the end. Yeah, it's kind of a cathartic process for me, this song, but it's a good like 6 minutes long or something. And it's fucking horrible when you think of it like that, but hey, I hope you enjoy it. Comes out this Friday.
Thank you.
Cheers.